breakup and feeling like a different person. I got dumped by my girlfriend about 4 weeks ago, and honestly, it still doesn't feel real to me. We were together for years, and I genuinely thought she was the person I was going to spend my life with. The breakup didn't happen because of cheating or some huge fight either, which almost makes it harder to process. It came down to timing, life direction, and her feeling unsure if I was ever going to fully build a future with her. The biggest issue was that I didn't move in with her this summer like we originally talked about. From her perspective, she felt like she kept waiting for me to take the next step and eventually started questioning whether I ever would. From my side, I did want all of those things with her. I still do. I just needed a little more time to get my life straightened out before moving away from my family and fully changing everything around me. I thought we still had time. I didn't realize she was already emotionally exhausted from waiting. Since the breakup, I feel like I became a completely different person overnight. It's honestly scary sometimes. The version of me that existed before all this feels far away now, like someone I barely recognize. One of the weirdest things is how much my daily life changed immediately after she left. I suddenly became one of those people who lives at the gym. Before this breakup, I barely cared about fitness outside of casually staying active. Now, I'm there almost every single day, trying to outrun my own thoughts. At first, I told myself I was doing it to improve myself, but if I'm being real, a lot of it is just because I don't know what else to do with the pain. The gym gives me somewhere to put the energy that would otherwise turn into overthinking. For an hour or two, I can focus on something simple like finishing a set or pushing through another mile instead of replaying memories in my head. I also started therapy, which is something I never imagined myself doing. I used to think I could handle everything alone and eventually get over things naturally, but this breakup hit me differently than anything else in my life. It forced me to sit with emotions I spent years avoiding. Some sessions help, some make me feel worse for the rest of the day, but I guess that's part of the process. The hardest thing to explain to people is how disconnected I feel from the world around me now. Everything looks the same, but it doesn't feel the same anymore. It's almost like my brain stopped reacting emotionally to things that used to make me happy. My hobbies used to mean everything to me. I loved working on my car, collecting things I cared about, spending time outdoors, enjoying good food, watching random shows at night. All the small normal things that make life feel comfortable. Now I do those same things and feel almost nothing sometimes. It's like the emotional connection disappeared overnight. Even beautiful weather feels different now. I'll go outside on a perfect day, and instead of enjoying it, I just think about how empty everything feels. I hate saying that because I know there are people dealing with far worse things in life. But emotionally, this has honestly shaken me harder than I expected. The worst part is probably the time. Days used to move so fast without me even noticing. Now every single day feels painfully slow. I wake up and immediately remember the breakup all over again before my brain even fully wakes up. Mornings are brutal because there's this tiny split second where I forget she's gone, and then reality hits again. I still instinctively think about texting her whenever something funny happens or whenever I see something she would have liked. Then I remember I can't anymore. Nights are even harder. That silence at the end of the day feels loud now. I didn't realize how much comfort there was in simply knowing someone was there beside me until it disappeared. It's strange how you can miss ordinary moments more than big dramatic ones. I think another painful part of all this is realizing how much of my future existed in my head with her included in it. Every long-term plan I had somehow involved her being there. Trips we talked about taking, places we wanted to live, future routines, future memories. Now, when I think about the future, it feels blank. Not hopeless exactly, just unfamiliar. Like someone deleted the version of life I had mentally prepared for, and now I'm standing in front of an empty page without knowing what comes next. I still love her deeply, which makes moving forward feel confusing. People always say Just focus on yourself, like it's a switch you can flip overnight. But it's not that simple when you genuinely saw someone as your forever person. What really messes with me is that I know she wasn't entirely wrong for feeling the way she did. I understand why she wanted reassurance and stability. I understand why waiting became painful for her. At the same time, I wish she could have seen that my hesitation wasn't because I didn't love her enough. I was scared of making huge life changes before I felt ready financially and mentally. I thought taking more time would protect our future, not destroy it. That's probably one of the hardest lessons I'm learning right now. Sometimes, two people can genuinely love each other and still fall apart because their timing doesn't align. That realization hurts more than anger, honestly, because there's nobody to fully blame. I've noticed heartbreak changes the way you see other people too. Everywhere I go now, I notice couples holding hands, laughing together, grocery shopping together, doing completely ordinary things that suddenly look meaningful to me. I never used to pay attention to any of that. Now it feels impossible not to notice. Sometimes it makes me hopeful that love exists. Other times, it just reminds me of what I lost. Friends keep telling me I'll eventually feel normal again. And maybe they're right. But right now, it genuinely feels impossible to imagine. It's weird grieving someone who's still alive and out there living their own life without you. There are moments where I think I'm improving, and then something random completely destroys my mood again. A song, a restaurant, an old photo, even certain smells can instantly pull me back into memories. I'm trying so hard not to sit in forever. Healing isn't linear at all. One day, I'll feel motivated, productive, even hopeful about my future. Then the next day, I'll sit in my car after the gym, staring at my phone, wondering if she misses me too. I think part of me still hopes she comes back someday. Maybe that hope is unhealthy. I honestly don't know. But after building a life around someone for so long, it's hard to completely shut that feeling off after only a few weeks. Therapy has made me realize that this breakup affected more than just my relationship. It affected my identity. For years, I wasn't just me. I was part of a team, part of a shared routine, part of someone else's everyday life. Now, I'm trying to figure out who I am outside of that relationship, and it feels uncomfortable. Some days, I barely recognize my own personality anymore. I became quieter, more reflective, less excited by things that used to light me up instantly. At the same time, I'm slowly learning things about myself that I ignored for years. I realized how much emotional weight I kept buried instead of communicating openly. I realized how much fear controlled my decisions without me even noticing. I still miss her every single day, and if I'm honest, a huge part of me would still want another chance if life ever brought us back together. But I'm also starting to understand that healing probably doesn't mean forgetting someone. Maybe it just means learning how to carry the memories differently without letting them destroy you. Right now, life still feels strange and emotionally distant sometimes. I still have days where nothing feels exciting and where I question if I'll ever fully feel like myself again. But compared to the first week, I can at least see tiny moments of progress now. Maybe that's all healing really is in the beginning. Tiny moments, tiny improvements, tiny reminders that even after losing someone important, life slowly keeps moving forward, whether you're ready or not. And honestly, I think I'm finally starting to believe that one day I'll feel alive again instead of just surviving the days. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about how easy it is to take normal moments for granted when you're happy. Back then, I never realized how valuable simple routines were. Late-night conversations, random grocery store trips, sitting next to each other doing absolutely nothing, even arguing over small things that seemed annoying at the time. Now those memories play in my head constantly because I understand what they actually meant. They weren't just ordinary moments. They were pieces of a life we built together over years. Losing the relationship felt like losing an entire version of reality that I thought would always exist. I think that's why heartbreak feels so disorienting. It's not just losing a person, it's losing familiarity, comfort, future plans, emotional safety, and the version of yourself that existed beside them. There are still nights where I randomly scroll through old pictures longer than I should. Sometimes I catch myself rereading old messages just to remember what it felt like when things were good between us. The strange thing is that my brain mostly replays the happy memories now. The bad moments that caused the breakup feel smaller in comparison because all I can think about is how connected we used to be, how easy everything felt in the beginning, how natural loving her felt. But therapy has been helping me understand something important. Missing someone doesn't automatically mean the relationship would work if you went backwards. Love alone isn't always enough to fix timing, fears, communication issues, or emotional exhaustion. That truth hurts, but I know there's honesty in it. One thing nobody really prepares you for after a breakup is how lonely personal growth can feel. Everyone online romanticizes the glow-up phase, like it's exciting all the time. But honestly, a lot of it feels sad. Yeah, I'm improving myself physically. Yeah, I'm becoming more disciplined. Yeah, I'm learning to communicate better and understand myself more deeply. But there's still this lingering sadness underneath all of it because the person I wanted to share that growth with isn't here to see it anymore. Sometimes, after a really good workout or after making progress in therapy, my first instinct is still wanting to tell her about it. Then reality hits again, and I remember she's no longer part of my everyday life. That feeling never fails to hurt. Recently, I started noticing small signs that maybe I am healing. Even if it's happening painfully slowly, I started laughing naturally again sometimes, instead of forcing it. Food tastes good again on certain days. Music doesn't always make me emotional anymore. There are even moments where I can enjoy being alone without immediately feeling abandoned by life. Those moments are rare, but they matter to me because for a while I genuinely thought I would feel emotionally numb forever. I'm also beginning to understand that healing isn't about becoming the old version of yourself again. That person is gone now. Heartbreak changes people. Maybe the goal isn't returning to who you were before, but becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more emotionally honest moving forward. If I could say one final thing about all of this, it's that heartbreak really does make you feel like life stopped moving while everyone else kept going without you. For weeks, I honestly believed I would never feel normal again. I thought the emptiness would permanently follow me everywhere I went, but slowly, almost invisibly, things started changing. Not in dramatic movie moments, but quietly. I started surviving full days without constantly checking my phone. I stopped blaming myself for every little thing that went wrong. I started accepting that even though I loved her deeply, I can't force someone to stay if their heart no longer feels certain. I still miss her. I probably will for a long time. Some people leave fingerprints on your life that never fully disappear, but I'm finally learning that missing someone and moving forward can exist at the same time. Maybe one day our paths cross again. Maybe they never do. I can't control that anymore. What I can control is the person I become after all of this pain. And honestly, despite how broken I felt at the start, I think this experience forced me to grow in ways I never would have otherwise. For the first time since the breakup, I don't feel completely trapped inside the sadness anymore. There's still pain there, but there's also acceptance beginning to grow around it. And maybe that's what healing actually looks like in real life. Not forgetting, not pretending it never mattered, but finally being able to carry the memories without letting them destroy your future.